Hey there, YouTube family. I've got a very interesting show for you guys. I've got some stock picks to give you guys. I made some purchases today. I'm going to go through all of it. I'm going to cover 4 EV stocks, and of course you know that one of them is going to be Tesla, as well as some stocks on the 52-week high list and some stocks that are on the 52-week low list. And I've got another exciting update to give you guys on an old penny stock that we covered on this page. It had a big pop today, went up 100%, coming perhaps back to life. I'm going to give you guys my opinions on it. Yes, I'm talking Verb. If you guys have been with me for over a year, you know that we traded Verb. And in my mind, I was relieved to get out of it the last time it popped because it really was on decline, as well as a sure path of dilution. I'm going to kind of break down the technicals on it and give you guys an update on that story because it's interesting. And I'm going to give you guys an opinion as to where I think it's going to go in the coming days, as well as whether or not I bought any. I'm going to give you guys an update on all of that. This is the Stocks with Josh show. Today, I'm very excited to be doing a meet and greet out in LA with Stock Up with Larry Jones. It's this evening between 5:30 and 8:30, and I hope that you guys can join us. A lot of people have been letting me know in the comments that they're coming, and I'm just thrilled to meet you guys. I want to thank all of those who hit the like the minute that the video launched. You guys go ahead and throw a heart, say hi in the comments. Remember, there are scammers in the comment section. They use my picture, they use my name, some variation of it, Stocks with Josh, with a dot at the end, and they try to scam you guys. They try to tell you it's me. They try to tell you guys to DM them. Ultimately, they're trying to get you to send them some money on WhatsApp, Telegram, and Instagram. I don't do that. I'll never ask you to DM me and give you a special offer to buy a class or to buy a tip or anything like that. Those are scammers. Watch out for them in the comment section. All right, let's just start off by looking at the crypto heat map, and you guys can see that largely it's a flat day. Yeah, you're looking at some red, but the numbers are pretty low. If this thing could easily turn to flat, a gray day. So largely I'm going to count it as a gray day. I've been needing to give you guys an update on Bitcoin, and today I'm going to cover that briefly. I just want you guys to see a couple key technicals, and I'm going to give you guys some trade ranges, as well as an overall prediction of what I'm looking at in the charts. I had to spend a number of hours analyzing this chart to give you guys what I'm giving you guys today, so let's get into it. One, I want to point out we have this pi cycle bottom indicator, and I've been tracking this for quite a while, and it had an ominous close beneath the support line. And so this tells us that we are not in a moment in which this thing is going to begin to go up and hit new highs. We've gotten an ominous signal and that we're going to come at some point and get a flash down. But before you sell all of your Bitcoin, let me give you guys a bigger picture view. We're largely going to move sideways, and we're likely to have a flash down at some point. And I'm just going to come right out and tell you guys that I think it's going to happen sometime between now and November. But like I said, we're going to be moving back up, testing the top of the range, and moving back down, testing the bottom of the range. And I think that the market's going to get a bad day here some point in September or perhaps in October, and it potentially could give us a stronger flash down. And I want you guys to have the trade ranges that I'm looking at. So you see the red box that I'm outlining for you guys. When we entered into that price zone, we entered into the phase 1 of the Bitcoin bull run. And the trade range for that box is on the low end, 25.5, and on the high end, around 32, but specifically 31.8. And all that we've done is gone to the top of that trade range and then come back to the bottom of that trade range. Now we are sitting ominously on the bottom of that box, and so we do have the threat of a flash down or a move outside of that box. And I'm just going to give you guys the support that I see if we were to come out of that box at some point in the coming days. And largely it's my prediction that we're going to be moving sideways. But if in the month of September or maybe the first week of October we do come out of that box, I believe that we would come back to 24,000 and we would bounce and have some support there. But if the box holds, or if it were to come back to 24 and bounce, I see resistance above in the near-term future at 28.9. So there's your trade range and update on Bitcoin. Okay, let's get into the heat map of the S&P 500 because that's where things kind of get interesting for me today. I want to start off with Tesla. Now, what did Tesla do today? Well, it did exactly to the T what I told you guys on Sunday that it would do on Tuesday. I said right when we were sitting above 245 that I was expecting a move back up into the 250 range on Tuesday and that we would back test the middle of that range. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And if you watch that Sunday video, I also made a prediction for what would come after that, that possibly moving into the end of this week, we would see a reversal, that we would see some selling pressure coming in. So it's a beautiful day up today, up over $10, but where is this thing going? I'm going to give you guys some new targets for you guys to put on your chart, and here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that we could go as high as 256.40, but there's no guarantee for that. I do think that when we got there, that would be a little bit of a brick wall, and we would get rejection, and we would pull back. That may be an ideal time to sell, but if for any reason we closed the day right beneath that number, and then we opened up tomorrow shooting above it with volume, well, then the bull story would be back on and Tesla would be going higher and ultimately be pushing back up to that 271 target. At the moment, I'm not leaning towards that direction, but I'm watching for it, and so can you guys. What I'm looking for is potential rejection at 256, and then I think that we're going to see some sell pressure. But if you guys are following this page, and if you're learning, you know that the number one indicator that I'm going to use, besides all the oscillators that I keep up on my charts, but it's volume, because ultimately volume with direction sets the trend. All right, let's look at Rivian. In August, I predicted that Rivian would come all the way down to $20.50 to the $19.50 range, and it did that. An incredible pullback, and now we've been moving up. We've had a nice little bounce off of that low. And where is it going? Well, I see that it could hit a wall right around $25, maybe even $24.90. It could get rejected right there. And I do think that we're likely to be moving sideways right now. It's not time for these to go up right now. I think we could come up to the top of that lower high, get rejected, and then come back to that $20-$50 range. That's what I think is going to happen with Rivian, so we'll keep an eye on it together and we'll see if that happens. Guys, if you want to get these predictions, if you want to get my insights on Tesla, stocks, Bitcoin, you got to hit that subscribe button because I'm making those predictions for stock and crypto each and every day. And if you have followed this page, and some of you guys who have followed it can attest in the comment section that some of these predictions have been pretty close to accurate. Now, I want to cover Lucid, and then people are going to be like, Josh, we're getting Lucid today too. Yes, Lucid. Now, let's be clear. If you have followed this page, you guys have been told that I do not believe in Lucid. I believe that Lucid has been on a path to bankruptcy, and I shared that months and months and months ago. We saw some wild moves up, but you got to remember that was largely not institutional investors coming into Lucid. It was largely a minor short squeeze, pushing the price up temporarily, only for people then to pile back in at the higher price and to push it down lower. And so today I'm just going to be following through with a negative prediction for Lucid. I'm going to tell you guys that if it cannot get above $6.50 soon, within the next 2 weeks, and close above $6.50 and hold $2.50, through the end of this week or next week, whenever it may potentially get above, and I'm not predicting that it will get above. It's very possible that it's going to get rejected beneath $6.50, and if it does, if it fails to get above $6.50, its next target is going to be $4. Now, the only thing that in my mind is going to save Lucid is a news story. If this thing continues in the trend technically that it's on, it's going to be going lower and lower and lower, and we could have a short squeeze that pushes us up violently, briefly, only for it to then come back down again. But they need a news story. Now, I see Lucids on the street. I like the leadership, I like the cars, but it's not enough. It's not enough for Wall Street to load millions and billions of dollars into a stock and for the market cap to rise. They need to see profit. And you know what? We're not near profit, and they're burning through cash, and we know that Tesla is applying pressure every single day with their head start. Tesla's got a moat. Tesla's got a moat not only for EVs, but for all automakers. I played a clip about a month ago of the CEO of Ford acknowledging that Tesla was so far ahead of them that there was no way for them to catch up. And I got to throw out an irritating news story that I saw the other day that our United States government was going to be giving near $10 billion. I can't remember the exact figure. It might have been between 8 and 12 billion. But basically, they were giving billions of dollars to the legacy car makers to bail them out. Why in the world would they be bailing out the legacy car makers? And you might say, Josh, I work in Detroit. I work for them. I don't want to lose my job. I understand, but the government is propping up a dying industry. It's the typical thing that they do. If they really wanted to give a positive change, they needed to go with the direction that the wind is blowing, which is the EV space. They could have given some of that money to Lucid, possibly giving them a fighting chance and giving Tesla some competition in the marketplace. But that's not what they're going to do. They're going to give it to a dying dinosaur, the legacy automakers. All right, enough of beating down Lucid. And then we've got Mullen, and you're like, Josh, you're covering Mullen. Yes, I'm only going to cover Mullen just to simply say that I've asked you guys not to invest in it. Now, it is such a long shot. Is it possible that something positive could happen for Mullen? Well, just like Verb stock that I'm going to talk about at the end of this video that got an incredible news story today, yes, something amazing could come out of nowhere and somehow save Mullen, and people that had believed in it while it got down to 6 cents somehow could find themselves back in some profit. But this is not the way I trade. Mullen is not the way I trade. They just don't have the money. They don't have the resources. They're not able to compete in this space. And if a company like Lucid can't get the support of Wall Street, why would you think that Mullen would get the support of Wall Street? Now, if you disagree with me, and if you think that Mullen has a real strong chance of coming back, I'd love to hear why. Just give me a concise answer in the comment section. But I personally think that Mullen is absolutely destined to bankruptcy, and any amount of money put into that stock is ultimately going to zero. So that's why I'm not touching it, but I'm not in it. I don't like it. I'm not shorting it, so I have no bias in this whatsoever, but I'm just sending out that warning on Mullen. All right, I want to get into the 52-week highs and the 52-week low stocks, because that's where I think this video is getting interesting, and in that area is where I bought something today that might surprise you guys. If we're looking at stocks that hit a 52-week high, today Eli Lilly did. Now, over a month ago, I did a prediction for Eli Lilly, and I shared with you guys that there was a clear rotation out of big tech and into healthcare and energy. Exxon is also doing pretty well today, but I specifically highlighted J&J and Eli Lilly, and Eli Lilly made a 52-week high today. But let's go into the chart and see how sustainable this is and where it might be going next. I see for Eli Lilly 565 being very hard resistance, and I noticed that even though it made a 52-week high today, it made it on a 25% drop in volume. So you guys know that that is not confluence, that's bearish divergence to me, and I think that it's possible right now to consider shorting Eli Lilly all the way down to a target of $511. But I did not take that position. I'm simply going to be watching it over the next couple days, and if I see some confirmation of rejection at 565, then yes, I will take that position. I'll put my stop loss on my puts right above 565 once I get a confirmation of clear rejection there. I'm looking for the candles. If you guys have followed me, you know that I'm going to be watching those candles. I'm going to be looking for a rejection candle. And then on the list of 52-week lows, so these are stocks that after 52 weeks have hit an all-time low over the course of that time. But sometimes you can find some interesting stocks on that 52-week low list, and I'm going to highlight two of them. I know that you guys, some of you guys are in these stocks, and I think it's going to be interesting to talk about them. We're talking about Walgreens and Paramount. They both hit a new 52-week low today. Now, what are my thoughts on Walgreens? Well, you know, Walgreens is interesting. It's worth putting on the watch list, but I'm actually going to tell you that I'm not interested in taking a position because I am interested in Amazon. And I think the reason why Amazon has a chance to hit 146 is the exact reason that Walgreens is down on its 52-week low, which is because it's getting punished, because it's a brick and mortar store. They're facing too much theft, too much uncertainty, and the fact that there's going to be store closings all across America in major cities where crime, smash and grab is not being curbed. And so the threat and the long-term negative financial impact on Walgreens remains. That's why I'm bullish on Amazon and bearish on Walgreens still, even though it hit its 52-week low. But I'm watching it, and if my opinion changes, I'll let you know. I noticed that Larry Jones talked about Walgreens the other day, and he said that it's beginning to look interesting. Maybe him and I will cover it on the next video that we do together. But Paramount, P-A-R-A, Paramount. Now that's a company that I'm interested in because it came down to its 52-week low, which happened to beautifully coincide with a nice support, and it got a little pop, and it had an 18% increase in daily trading volume with that pop. And so I'm going to give you guys some technicals, and on that one, I did take a starter position in some October options just to begin to track it, but I'm interested in Paramount because the bottom line is that they're down on their 52-week low because of the writers' strike. But that's eventually going to get resolved, and it could make this company a good value play. It could make them well positioned to have a nice little pop on the news of the writers' strike get concluding. Now, what I see support for Paramount is $13.40, and I want you guys to listen to me carefully. If $13.40 gets broken, now I got in when it came down and hit right above that, but if it were to close beneath $13.40, then this indeed is going to be an $11 stock, and I'm not going to be holding it, so I'm going to be putting my stop loss right beneath $13.40. If this thing bounces and stays above $13.40 and a conclusion to the writer's strike comes, then I think the target's going to be $17, which is a 20% increase on the shares, and you're going to see much more on the options. You're going to see over 100% increase on the options, and so that's how I'm trading Paramount. All right, I'm going to get into the exciting news on the penny stock in just a moment. I'm going to briefly take a station break for the WEBULL investment app. If you're a beginning trader and you're looking for better trade tools as a retail trader, I think one of the best platforms is the WEBULL investment app. They've got the best tools, and they're specifically offering up to 16 free stock and a $50 cash bonus in the United States. They've got offers for the US, Canada, and Australia. That's where it's available. I use them because they've got the better tools. They've got the stock screener that I used on stocks I've talked with you guys about today. They've got the best earnings calendar out of any retail trading platform. They've got free level 2 data and the very best news. I read their news every day. Guys, click on the link in the top pinned comment and the description of this video to get the exact offer for your country. Look it over for yourself with your own eyes. Click on that link, get your free cash, get your free stock, start investing today, and then come find us in the chat group. And I want to take a quick moment to highlight the new Patreon Discord that was started. You're also going to see a link for that in the top pinned comment and the description of the video. This Patreon includes 4 traders, 4 of us that are on YouTube. Stockmo, Stock Up with Larry Jones, Keenan, Grace, and myself. It's got a beautiful section for trade alerts. Keenan, Mo, and Larry have all been posting. I posted one today on the Paramount play, some of the details, and we're going to be doing more of that. And I'm going to later on today try to fit in, when I meet up with Larry in Los Angeles, I'm going to try to fit in a video covering HE that's going to be custom content for the Discord that's going to be playing over there. So join that Discord to get those updates. All right, what is going on with Verb Technologies? I have a love-hate relationship with Verb Technologies because these guys are the king of dilution. Rory, the CEO, in my mind, has led the company in sort of a wild, overly spending kind of a way. There's been so much opportunity with this company, and it's been upsetting to see them. It seemed to be wasted, but they once again have proven that they're pretty good hustlers, and they've cut a deal with TikTok. Verb Technology and TikTok collaborate to enhance shopping experience and boost sales. Now, this is monumental news, and I'm going to get into the charts in just a minute. I'm going to share with you where I think this stock price could go, but I want to take a step back. I want to look at the bearish and the bullish situation here. When I got out of Verb, I felt lucky to get out of it. I was able to get out of it with a $4,000 profit because I bought down in the 20-cent range, and it had a beautiful pop up to 80 cents. It was a short squeeze, and eventually it just continued to drop. Then they did an inverse split around April 18th, and of course, the stock, if it was at the 80-cent level, it would have been valued at $23. So it was just a massive dilution of the stock. And it then just bled back beneath $1, hitting around 70 cents. And then today, on this good news, it popped 100% to where it's at today. But if it were to get all the way back to $4.20, which is where I think it could go on this news, that's the potential. I'm not calling it, and I'm not in it right now. I'm just going to watch it for now because I have some concerns, and I'm going to outline those for you. If it were to get back, just to keep an eye or perspective on how dilution affects the price of the stock, if it were to get all the way up to $4.20, that would have been the old 20-cent level, just to put it in perspective of how much this stock is diluted. So these guys have done something great by getting integrated into TikTok. Now, I use TikTok. I like TikTok. I have purchased some things on TikTok and I've gotten burned. I bought some things on TikTok. They never showed up. And so it made me nervous. Oftentimes, I've seen things on TikTok that I liked and I turned around, searched the company name, went over to Amazon, found the company, and bought it there simply because of my bad experiences with TikTok, and I didn't trust the app. I didn't trust the end user, whoever I was buying from. You know, I was losing some money. It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't too much money, but it was just some small products. So Verb has the ability to keep all of that within TikTok, right? And to provide TikTok the structure of controlling the payment, right? And so not allowing this level of fraud where you're not going out of the site. People are going to be able to stay on the site, make their purchase, and continue to shop and continue to watch more videos. And so this is actually great news for TikTok, but it's also great news for Verb because they're going to be making some money. They're going to be getting a high percentage of these sales. And that's what we need to see. We need to see Verb make some money. We need to see Verb get through some earnings and show us their leadership. And you might say, Josh, this is such good news. Don't you think this is an automatic buy? No, because of the way I watched the management run this company over the last couple of years. They managed it so poorly with such reckless spending. In particular, Rory, the CEO, presiding over a company that was clearly in decline, was way overpaying himself. He was paying himself around $2.5 million. I don't know where his current salary is, which was way too much for a struggling company. So what I need to see is better financial management from Verb. But here's another concern I want to outline for you guys who might be extremely bullish on this bullish news for Verb, is that what you may not know is that in Biden's recent Inflation Reduction Act were a number of ominous things that got written into law. For instance, they ruled in that Inflation Reduction Act, they slipped it in that there's a kill switch on Tesla. So when you buy an electric vehicle, they have passed into law that Tesla has to have a kill switch, an outside way of shutting down that vehicle. So the government can come in and say, hey, you're the bad guy, and so we're turning off your car. You can't get away. Some of you guys might think, well, that's good news. Personally, I don't like that type of control from the federal government. In addition to that, the Inflation Reduction Act, which of course, let's just stop real quick a minute, and I'm not making this political, but let's talk about that title. The whole bill was a huge spending bill, which would spend over $1 trillion. And we know that injecting the economy with spending is what pushes inflation up. So it was an oxymoron to call it an Inflation Reduction Act because it was basically a big spending bill, which was only going to further aggravate inflation. But in that bill, that's just a side note, in that bill, they have the ability to ban TikTok. And so even though this is great news for Verb, these guys need to get their finances in order. They need to begin to show a profit. They need to begin to show increased revenue, increased earnings per share on the rise. But then what if the bad news comes out that they pull that kill switch on TikTok that they've already written into law that they can do? If they kill TikTok, then that good news for Verb, you're going to see a massive drop in the price again. And so it's going to be a roller coaster. So trade at your own risk. In my view, I can make more money on Tesla than I can speculate on Verb. And so I'm just going to stick to some of the big boys. That's the way I'm going to roll. But I've got it on my radar. That's why I'm talking to you guys about it today. And I thought it would be interesting to share. I would love to hear from you if you guys are going to take a risk on Verb. All right, that's it for today, guys. Meet me in LA this evening between 5:30 and 8:30. The address is going to be in the top pinned comment. Join that Discord. We've got custom content coming out there today. As always, peace and blessings. We'll see you in the next video.